Good morning, everybody. How are you? Happy Wednesday. It's 4/22, April 22nd in Puerto Vallarta. It's 10 a.m. on the dot, which means you have found Puerto Vallarta Real News, and you found me, your host, Brent Lane. Happy to have you here this morning. As usual, this is an interactive show. If you're new, if you've been around for a while, you know how this goes. Good morning, Vallarta Real Estate guys. There's a bunch of you. Good to see you on this morning. And first out of the gate, good job. And of course, I do say good morning to everybody as they come on. Good morning, Sly. Always here. Love to have you on. Oh, let's take a look outside really quick. How's about it? This is what we do. So a quick look out at Puerto Vallarta Live. Good morning, Melissa. Good morning, John. Love to see you all coming back. Here's a look at Puerto Vallarta this morning. You can see we've got a cruise ship out there. A little bit overcast, but another beautiful day as our temperatures are creeping up and up and up every single day. Buenos dias, Chris of the Anderson Report. Good to see you again. Saw you last night. Hey, Dan McNeil, High Tech Productions in the house. Good to see you. Always keeping those tunes jamming around Puerto Vallarta. Good morning to you as well. Thank you for joining. And so, first off, for those who came out last night to the Whiskey Kitchen event for the Gen Expats group that I run, thank you so much for coming out. How awesome to see y'all last night. A few people came out who heard about it on this show and had a chance to come over and introduce themselves and a chance to meet me. So here's just, I'm terrible at taking photos. So I'm not terrible at the actual action of taking photos. It's like just remembering to take photos. So you may see yourself in these photos somewhere. I didn't take a ton of them, but thank you for coming out to the new location of Whiskey Kitchen. I think we had a really great time. Thank you to Gina Hendricks, as always, for doing a great job. I'll share a couple more details about this a little later, and I'll definitely run these slides one more time so you have a chance. And I also found out about Whiskey Kitchen's satellite location of Cacao Mexico. Got to say it correctly. Good morning, Alfris8894. Good to see you. So I'll share a little bit more about that, but maybe you see yourself in these photos, and I see Eric out there with his arms in the air, of course, and Julie and a few other friends. So awesome to catch up with you. Got to catch up with Liza as well. I haven't seen her in a while, so thank you for coming out. I loved it. As you know, along the bottom of the screen, we've got the exchange rates, we've got the weather, we've got the waves. I don't explain the ticker a lot. And most importantly, we've got my amazing sponsors. Without them, this show wouldn't be continually getting better like I think it is personally. So thanks to PV Aesthetics, South of the Burger, all my awesome sponsors. Thank you so much for paying attention to them. But this show's about the news, so let's jump into it. So first up, yesterday, I was one of the first ones to break the story, so I figured we would talk about it first up this morning, but it's about the water outage. So most of you saw this post go up yesterday. If you didn't see it from me, you saw it from somebody. I know that's a little small and hard to read, but Puerto Vallarta reported a failure in a 24-inch main line that triggered a water outage across a large portion of the city, mostly north of Centro. The rupture of the line connected to the radial well system that was detected on Tuesday, which prompted an emergency response from technical crews. Officials warned that because the storage tanks would be depleted within hours, many neighborhoods would face a service suspension, as they call it, no water, lasting up to 48 hours, 2 days, while repairs are completed. SEPAL's General Director, Carlos Ruiz, and Operating Deputy Director traveled to the site of the break yesterday, coordinated repair efforts, and the utility urged the population to take immediate conservation measures as the lack of water, is going to progressively get worse until it runs completely dry. Many of us have, hopefully you know what like a tinaco is up in your roof. It's the big tank, or maybe where you live has a cistern, but some people just have to rely on the water itself just coming from the line, and they ran dry pretty fast. At least most of the houses here do have tinacos. I know that. So as you can see on the screen right now, These are the specific neighborhoods that were identified by SayPal yesterday. And again, they're saying through midweek they're going to have this outage. But there is an update this morning that you're going to want to know about. So, following the report yesterday on the 24-inch pipe collapse, SayPal Vallarta crews successfully completed the physical repairs during the early hours of Wednesday morning. While the patch is finished, officials warned that the required pipe does not mean an immediate return of the water. The network is still being recharged in the recharging stages. And to avoid further bursts from sudden pressure, it's a process that's expected to continue throughout today. Residents should anticipate a gradual recovery of service with full normalization projected sometime between midday Thursday and Friday morning. Now, we hope that it doesn't take that long, of course. So, SayPal technical teams noted that the storage tanks were nearly drained during the 25-year-old pipe's failure, meaning pressure must be rebuilt from the ground up. Now, those living in elevated neighborhoods or at the end of the line are likely going to be the last to see the consistent flow as the system stabilizes. Some temporary turbidity or like off-colored water, almost like tamarindo colored brownish water, may appear due to sediment movement. Authorities recommend just running your tap for a few minutes until that water clears out. They say it remains safe for non-consumption use. That's a funny quote. As long as you don't drink it, it's safe. That's fair enough. What I will say, like John, here in the marina, and my studio's in the marina, we have not run out of water, but it also depends on where you live and how your water is delivered. Now, I'm not going to say that, if you've got water running, you were not affected by it, but your building might have a cistern, you might have a tinaco, you might be running through that. And for example, these studios are in a building with quite a few condominiums, and a lot of those people aren't here yet. Aren't here right now. So you've got pretty large cisterns holding water with much fewer residents. So through that, you might not feel the difference. Now, as our viewer, Jordan Tolvo, frequent viewer, thank you, and pretty handy dude, I would say. He's pretty good at fixing stuff. He is saying be prepared to change your water filters after service is restored. Destroyed your water filtration system. Yeah, so definitely flush those out. Check your filters if you're running an RO filter of some type. Great advice from one of our viewers. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. So to you, Jordan Tolvo, and your handy, timely advice, I give you cheers from the coffee cam. And you notice today, let me take a sec. You shouldn't be hearing a jingle today. I feel like the jingle is pretty awesome, but anything not in moderation could be a little too much. And so while some people absolutely love, and cheers back to you, Jordan, as well, love the coffee cam jingle. I kind of like it, coffee cam on PVRN. All right, now I should keep my day job. It's kind of catchy, but I can see where every single day that would be a bit much. So I'll save it for special occasions for the most part. But thanks for cheersing with me, Jordan, and everyone else who did. Okay. Moving on through the news, but first off, just a quick reminder, if you've not yet, I see you laughing, LOL for my singing, I'm pretty sure. If you have not yet subscribed to this show, just take a second, please do it. It's right down here with this bell. Click on that, subscribe, and that way at least you'll get notified and you won't be the one that's, in the conversation when everybody says, oh my gosh, did you hear about the water outage? Or did you hear about something in the news? Good morning, Lori, good to see you. You won't be the only one that doesn't know about it. You can be like, wow, I know about that. I don't even care if you mention the show. Take credit for it. Be a news person. If you live here, it's good to know what's going on. Hey, PV Cooks, good to see you here this morning as well. I love all these new people dropping in, and some old timers, not old timers, but OGs. We'll call them OGs. They've been around since the beginning. Hey, Lilia, how you doing? Shout out to you. Another personal friend came in this morning. I hope you're feeling better. Here's cheers. Gina, I knew that was you, PV Cooks. That made sense. Well, wow, look at all the people we got today. Let's do it. Let's clink those cups. Let's cheers them. There we go. Get on time. Cheers to you, Gina. Cheers to you, Lily. I hope you're doing well. Cheers to everybody on the show this morning. I love when you guys message me. Thank you. And just for Gina, real quick, let's revisit those slides from last night. In case you joined a little bit late, these are a few photos that I took. You may see yourself in one of these photos. I know we didn't see Lilia. She wasn't feeling good, but I'm glad you're feeling better. But I see a lot of members of the Gen Expat group there, and that just gives you a little idea what Whiskey Kitchen looks like in the new location too. So really cool. Hopefully you guys made it out. Cheers to you all for coming out last night, especially the people that just came by to shake my hand and say hi, and they wanted to meet me. That was super fun. Hopefully some of you were on. All right, moving forward. How about an Uber update? We haven't had one of these in a long time. Gosh, Uber update. So the legal battle for rideshare and the airport is still on. Now, it remains volatile in kind of a gray area as of April 2026, because the situation overview, it's a standoff between the federal court rulings and the officers on the ground. Although a judge granted Uber a legal quote-unquote shield in late 2025, which was intended to let the drivers pick up passengers at the airport without being fined or towed, local authorities are largely ignoring the order, according to the news report I read. The National Guard continues to block pickups inside the terminal, often citing a lack of official notification of the court's ruling as a justification. This has led to ongoing reports of vehicle retentions, high-stakes confrontations between app-based drivers and airport security. Now, for travelers, this just means that despite the legal protections claimed by Uber, the physical reality of arriving at the PV airport has not changed. Most rideshare drivers, I'm going to say most because that's what the article says. If you've got an opinion about this, morning, Matt, good to see you. If you've been going to the airport lately or getting picked up at the airport lately and Uber's had no problem, chime in on that. Like I said, I feel like the stories I get are mostly accurate, almost always accurate, but sometimes, information on the ground's a little bit different. So in the story is saying most rideshare drivers still refuse to enter the terminal for pickups to avoid the risk of harassment or administrative penalties. Instead, instructing passengers to cross the bridge, everybody knows the pedestrian bridge, to the highway. And by moving across this bridge, passengers exit the federal zone and enter the municipal jurisdiction where Uber and InDrive operate freely. So until a final constitutional ruling forces a change in airport protocol, the bridge walk still remains the only 100% reliable method for travelers to secure a rideshare vehicle. Again, you may or may not be experiencing this. I'm not 100% sure. I don't generally take Ubers because I'm one of those lucky people that lives within walking distance of the airport, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, if you've experienced that, I'd love to hear about that. Oh, quick shout out for my t-shirt. Remember a couple days ago, I showed you my Jalisco Charles custom Godzilla jersey. Well, today I'm going vintage. Today I'm going to stand up and the camera's going to go a little crazy for a second. But wow, here we go. There we go. Sand and Strings Fest. So this goes back to 2024's festival. Don't know. I went in 24. I went in 2025. I don't think they've had Sand and Strings again since then, but what a great folk festival that was. I just felt like pulling out the t-shirt this morning to remind me of the amazing outdoor concert venues and festivals that we have. And Sand and Strings was a really fun one, and I've interviewed them on the TV and stuff before, but I think unfortunately it might be gone. But if you see Charlie out there and those guys from Sand and Strings, tell them to get it going again. It was pretty awesome. Here's a couple tips coming up on the screen. So Chris or Melissa, here we go. We got Melissa and we got Chris giving you some ideas and giving the same one. Jinx you too. Good job, Melissa and Chris. I love it. That must be good. So cheers to you guys and your great advice about how to do Uber and maybe not take the bridge. All right, let's move on. Let's move over to national news. Before I do, just a reminder, please subscribe. It's over here. I'm never going to get that right, but it's over here in this corner. Hit the subscribe button. You'll never miss a show. You won't have to have me bother you about it. Just hit it and come on out. Join the show live every day and comment just like Melissa and all these folks that are on and Chris and everyone else. And I appreciate it so much. Okay, next up, this photo is going to be a little bit blurry, and I apologize for that because I couldn't find a real good quality one online. But I think you can tell who this is, right? This is our own president, Claudia Sheinbaum, and there she is sitting on an airplane in coach. And this story came out just a few days ago, but I thought it was a really fun story to share with everybody because this is something you just don't see every day. And she was on a long flight, like 14 hours. So She was on the international spotlight after choosing to fly economy class on a commercial trip all the way to Barcelona. That's 14 hours. Passengers of the long haul flight reported seeing her working on a laptop, speaking with crew members, and moving through the cabin without any special separation from the rest of the travelers. According to reporting from Mexico News Daily, thank you, this is where I found this story. This really mirrors her previous commercial flights to Brazil, to Canada. It's not really the first time she's done this, where she's also opted out of the official aircraft. Her arrival in Barcelona drew unexpected large turnout from the Mexican community living in Spain, and the article also describes the crowds waving flags, playing music, and greeting her with chants as she stepped onto the terminal. The visit comes during a period of renewed diplomatic engagement between Mexico and Spain, which is great. We've seen a couple events lately. A little shout out to Cesar with Bandera Scuba, who does a lot of the interaction with Spain. He is from Spain, and he does a lot of the diplomatic stuff here with Puerto Vallarta, which is amazing. Shout out for my friend Cesar. But that's following years of tension under the prior administration. The report notes that her government continues to highlight foreign investment, economic stability, and as priorities. But mostly what I just wanted to talk about was her sitting over there in coach, looking super happy. I'm not 100% sure we look that happy in coach. So cheers to you, Claudia. Cheers to you, Miss President, for traveling like us, commoners, and looking happy and doing it, and looking great, by the way. She looks amazing on that flight. Love it. Okay, moving on. Okay, this is another follow-up story, and if you love little cute turtles, come on, everybody, give me a few awes. Look at that guy. He's sitting by a coin. You guys know what this is? Anybody? Before I tell you, I would love to hear from you. But this is a follow-up story that happened a while back. But let me tell you, it's kind of an interesting and kind of a little bit of a sad story about this guy. So this is one of the more rare creatures on the planet, and is also at the center of an ongoing recovery effort here after a series of targeted thefts made headlines back in early 2025. I remember reporting on this on the news, on television. He is you didn't get any guesses in, but this is the Vallarta mud turtle. Yeah, very cute. I know, cuter than a monkey. I know you hate monkeys, Lori. This is the Vallarta mud turtle, one of the smallest freshwater turtles in the world, and exists only, according to this story, here in Banderas Bay. Because they are restricted to less than 25 hectares of habitat, the loss of even a single turtle is a massive blow to the species. So just to recap the background for what's going on here, it began when thieves, all right, follow this. This is kind of nuts. This began when thieves posing as federal environmental inspectors pulled off a theft of 40 of these turtles from Cook Costa University's laboratory. And then, get this, they returned weeks later to steal 15 more. I mean, these little guys fit in your pocket, but we got to lock them down. Come on, y'all. Experts believe that these tiny turtles, who are distinguished by the bright yellow spot on the male's heads, were targeted for the international black market, where their extreme rarity makes them a high-value item for illegal collectors. I might be looking at you, China. You seem to be at the back of these things sometime. I mean, it could be anybody. I get it. But let's do an update. So here's the update for today and why I'm sharing a story from 2025 with you. So since those events happened, the local conservation center has been transformed into a secure facility now because they got some additional funding when this happened. They now have electric fencing, motion sensors, and 24-hour alarms. And now, while the stolen turtles have never been recovered, the program itself is still very much alive because as of this week, researchers report that the remaining females in the protected colony are healthy and have been successfully laying new eggs. This local population is backed up by an assurance colony in Austria, which recently saw its first successful hatchling. Together, these two groups represent the front line against extinction, and federal authorities are now moving beyond just security, meeting this month to finalize a strategy that treats the turtles' remaining puddles and ponds as protected zones, ensuring that Vallarta's smallest little residents, and also maybe some of the cutest, has a permanent home here in the wild. Oh, man. All right. So I'm glad they're locking that down. I realize those poor ones that were stolen are probably never going to be recovered. Super sad, but hey, turtles, I hope you're hanging in there. And I'm really glad that conservation efforts are now being kicked up because of this. Okay, oh, I get it. I get it. Ninja Turtles. There you go. I feel your Gen X humor, Chris Anderson. Nicely done. Nicely done. Bringing a little light to that story. If you want to hear more of Chris's jokes, and I'm sure they're going to draw you into the show even more than me, then this is how you do it. Subscribe to the channel right there, and you will not miss the Anderson Reports jokes when they come in. Pretty good one right there. Thank you so much. All right, let's move forward a little bit now. So last night again, if you were at Whiskey Kitchen, and here's those photos one more time, just because I know our viewers that were there would love to see themselves. There you are. Thanks again to those who came out, to those who got to meet for the first time. But I also learned something. So I learned just before I went out there that the owner of Cacao Mexico has a satellite location now right inside of Whiskey Kitchen. I did not know that. And there it is. There's what it looks like. There's the container that's holding the chocolates, and they're all super gourmet. The main one is over there in Puerto Magico. But if you don't know about it, Cacao Magico is trying and successfully elevating the local chocolate scene and the deep ancestral roots of Mexican cacao. And they're transferring just from simple sweets into a complete sensory experience. Now, I had the opportunity to visit the satellite location, as I mentioned, last night for a tasting at Whiskey Kitchen. And Gina was sweet enough to bring out these chocolates for the four of us to taste. There you are, Gina. Yes. If you have anything you want to pitch in about these chocolates, I did not capture all the notes about it, but I captured a pretty good photo. But so you just have to taste these. The depth of the flavor. We had some that were infused with tequila, some with maracuya, which is passion fruit. Another one was like kind of truffly or caramely. They were just all really, really good. So here's the cool thing. So beyond just going out there and tasting them, I got invited to a tasting experience. So Dean was nice enough to offer my wife and I to go out for a chocolate experience at their main location in Puerto Magico, and it's going to dive into the history and traditional process of the chocolate making. I understand Laura and I might be making some chocolate. It's a full experience. So here's the deal. I'll be sharing that soon, and so you can kind of see and hear about all the details and kind of see what it's all about. I love that was the thing that Gina mentioned. Yes, that she's doing like a liquor pairing or a drink pairing with it. That's pretty cool. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out and you want to do the drink pairing, you want to visit the main one, go check them out at Puerto Mexico or go check them out at Whiskey Kitchen. Thank you, Gina, for chiming in on that. But that was really cool, a little surprise. And again, I get to go experience it. I'm fully transparent about these things that, yes, they're going to offer us a free tasting. But that doesn't influence how I'm going to report it to you guys and what I'm going to say about it. So you know you're going to get the truth about it, how I felt about it, what we liked about it, what can be improved. So stay tuned for that. I figure it's going to probably be 2 weeks before we get out there because, as many of you know, I've got my wedding anniversary coming up soon, and Laura and I are going to be celebrating that and giving you some information about where we go and what we do, which may give you an idea about where to take your sweetie, wherever they are, whomever they are. And Melissa, I wish we could have had you out there last night too. We really had a great time. So that's it for today. That's the whole show. Thanks for joining in today. I think we had a pretty fun one. I love the interactivity we had. I love my little memory of Sand and Strings. Thank you so much to you, Chandra, for joining. Thank you for all the interaction. Just hang in there for about a minute or less to check out my sponsors. Again, without them, this show wouldn't be what it is. I love the hearts going up the screen from Gina. Thank you so much. All right, so here's the sponsors. Here we go. I'll see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. And once again, please do share the show. I need to get the subscriber numbers up right here on YouTube, and that's really going to help this show grow. So if you want to share this show with anybody, please, please, please do. I'll say hi to Laura, of course. And again, please share this show. Please subscribe. I'm trying to work my way to 1,000 subscribers because then I get a little bonus from YouTube, and I would love that. All right, have a great one. Support my sponsors. Here we go.